Hey everyone. So I'm sure you can hear me all right. So it's a Jewish holiday, so I'm sure that the meeting's going to be light. I got a message from about 6 different people. So what I decided to do today is a macros review, which everybody needs anyway. So that's what we're going to do today. So everybody should be muted and we're going to give it a couple of minutes. We're going to talk about tracking alcohol. We're going to talk about eating out. We're going to talk about finding the correct logging information in your app that you're logging into. Lots of different things. Getting your steps in. And I'm gonna go run to the bathroom really quick so I don't have to go while we're on the phone. I've been drinking a ton of water. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. There are a few of you on here. It is being recorded. First thing I want to say is, did you weigh in on Monday? Whether you're watching this video or you're watching a recording. Sorry, I just put some in my mouth. You guys should definitely be getting in your weight record. So we have something to go by when, let's say, the scale doesn't move. I'll know. But if you ignore it, we talked about it with the girl last week, I didn't say her name, that she wasn't doing it and you know what happened. So make sure you guys are weighing in every single week. If you can't do it on Monday, make sure you do it on Tuesday. If you're out of town, make sure you get it done. Just to get record of it. I'm not going to call you out if it's Wednesday and you weighed in. Now, if it was Wednesday because you acted like a doo-doo head over the weekend and ate whatever you wanted and wanted to try to get it off, that's different. The reason why we weigh in on Monday is so you don't do that over the weekend. Okay. So let's talk about steps real quick. Kudos to those that are in the step challenge. It started on Monday. There's still time to get in. There's a $5 buy-in. I added $20 on my own just to get 10 people into the challenge. So now there's, I think, $70 up for grabs, and then whatever the prizes are, and you guys get to choose that, remember? Okay. So let's just talk about the health department's guidelines of steps. Less than 5,000 steps per day is considered sedentary. Sedentary. When you're sedentary, that causes morbid obesity diseases. Morbid obesity diseases are diabetes, heart disease, kidney diseases, anything cardiovascular. So you really have to try to get those steps in. Hold on, I'm just letting Bonnie in. Okay. Super important. 5 to 7,499 steps is considered low activity. Somewhat active, 7,500 to 9,999. Oh, thank you, April. I was about to ask you to stop your thing from flashing. Active is more than 10,000 steps per day, and highly active is more than 12,500 steps per day. So it says that, studies have been shown that if you're getting in at least 7,500 steps, which puts you in the somewhat active range, that it would reduce the risk of death and aid in weight loss. It also says that a study found that walking at least 7,000 steps per day was associated with 50 to 70% lower risk of dying within 10 years. Another study was found that walking 4,400 steps per day was associated with 41% of death compared to 2,700 steps, lowering your risk. So as far as weight loss, a study found that walking more than 7,500 steps per day, not 7,500, more than 7,500 steps per day, was associated with greater weight loss compared to those that were walking fewer steps. However, the number of steps needed for weight loss will vary depending on the person's weight, food intake, and target weight. So like for me, 10,000 steps is like walking 5,000 steps because I walk a lot because of my job. So my goal every day is to get in at least 12,500, but I shoot for 15,000. So you'll always, even if I walk all day and I do everything, I still get on the treadmill. That's not fitness. That is not exercise. I walk at a 3.5 and I walk at a 1 incline until I get my steps in. That is not exercise. I want everybody to understand that. That is not considered fitness. So if you gave me that number, when I asked you for your fitness number and you included your steps, we need to reevaluate your numbers because steps is a way of life. Remember we talked about NEAT, non-exercise, right? Non-exercise activity for thermogenesis. So we need to talk about that. They say that the CDC, which is the disease control, says that we need to have at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week, in addition to 10,000 steps a day. Is that a real bird? Was that a real bird out there? Oh, it's you. Okay. So we really want to focus on getting in those steps. Super, super important. Obviously, if you're injured and you cannot do that, you can't do it. And I've had somebody message me this week that they're unable to get over, they're averaging about 7,200. So I said, we need to bump you to 8, work on 8. I don't want you to have goals that you're not able to succeed. I want you to be successful. When you're successful, you're motivated. When you're motivated, you see results. Okay. So I'm going to get off my step stool. And if you want to join the step challenge after that little talk, let me know and I can add you in. Okay. So now I want to talk about what you do if you're not hungry. So here's the deal. Yes, you have to eat. Your body needs fuel. So although we might not think we're hungry, our body still needs it. But I want you to listen to your body. And if you're not hungry, but you have to get your food in, only eat the protein. The carbs and fats will come along for the ride. But the thing is, with us and with people, we automatically want to eat our carbs and fats first. So forget about them. Only if you're not hungry and you have to get your proteins in. Don't think you have to get a full meal in. Get your proteins in and be done for the day. This way you're not stressing about getting in your carbs at 10 o'clock at night. You're not stressing about getting in those fats. You will see results if you're hitting your proteins. So if you're not hungry, you still need to eat. Because for one thing, it improves your performance. It improves your energy. It improves your mood, eating what you should be eating. And then see if it is see if you are hungry or not hungry. You just might be having a bad day. And so your hunger went down, but you're still physically, you need to eat because you're hungry. But like I had a really stressful day yesterday and I hardly ate. And then when I got home, I was like, I need to eat all this food because I need to get my food in. And I did, but I didn't worry so much about the carbs and the fats, but I got my proteins in. Okay. I want to remind you guys, especially those that have been in the program for a long time, and then those that are not really been in the program very long. When you are looking at your app, your dashboard, it should be all yellow. If you see a red, that's a red flag. What am I eating too much of? And it might not be that. It might be that you chose the wrong log entry. I was looking over somebody's log today and I saw that it said like, it's somebody's name, like, let's just say Peter's Mussels and Marinara. And then it said 24 and it said 1,100 calories. And she was very much in the red. So I reached out to her and I was like, you know, what was this? And she said, well, I had 24 mussels and I didn't know what entry to use. So I just picked one. I said, well, what did you have with it? She goes, just marinara. I said, that's not 1,100 calories. So when you're looking in your app, whether it's my app, Fitbit, or MyFitnessPal, you need to really think about the entry you're choosing. And in MyFitnessPal, there's a blue check mark if it's a certified, verified entry, or if it's just someone just decided to make the entry. A lot of times that happens with sandwiches, salads, burgers, you know, because we have no idea what people are putting on their stuff. You don't know if Sarah's cheeseburger that she entered has mayonnaise on it, has barbecue sauce on it, has, you know, those onion things, those crinkle onion things that people light up on their burgers. I don't know. So create the entry or don't create it, but do individual entry. I had a burger, I had a bun, I had lettuce, I had American cheese. That's what I do. It's much easier, I don't eat burgers, but it's much easier for me to individually enter what's in my meal. If you're having a loaded baked potato, that was another entry I saw on someone else, but they were eating at a restaurant. They couldn't find the entry. She picked something. I wound up looking it up and I was like, that restaurant was in MyFitnessPal. You should have used it. Make your life easier. Look for the restaurants, look at it ahead of time, look at the entries, reach out to me. That's why I'm here. Hey, which one do you think looks more accurate? I have a registered dietitian's app where I pretty much have everything in there and I can find it and I can tell you which one looks more accurate. But good data in is good data out. We've heard that forever. And that means good data in, you'll see results. You put the wrong data in your app, what's going to happen? You're just self-sabotaging yourself. When you are tracking alcohol, there's no protein in alcohol. Is there chicken, fish, eggs? No. Beans? What did you say? Grapes is not protein. He says if it is if it's growing in California. Right. So when you are tracking alcohol, you want to take whatever the calories are of that said alcohol. So a glass of wine, 90 calories, let's say. One glass. You're going to divide that by 4 if you're going to use your carbs, and 9 if you're going to use your fats. So 1 glass of wine would be 10 grams of fat. Are you willing to give that up? You might be. 1 glass of wine might be 23 to 24 carbs. 1 glass. Not very many of us have 1 glass. I do, but a lot of people don't. Someone said, well, what's a bottle of wine? You know what? People drink a bottle of wine. Who am I, right? A bottle of wine has a little about 3 to 3.5 glasses. That means a bottle of wine is over 100 grams of carbs. Now, if it's worth it to you, put that in the app ahead of time and then work around it. So you could have your bottle of wine. It's macros. You're not on a diet. But usually when we eat or drink, we eat. So you got to watch that, right? It makes us a little bit more uninhibited when it comes to that. Someone said, where do you like to go during the day for your food if you have to eat fast food? So I don't eat fast food, but I do eat things like Pollo Tropical. I eat Chipotle because I can build it. Because I know I'm getting brown rice, I'm getting grilled chicken, I'm getting onions, I'm getting whatever I'm getting on my Pollo Tropical. I usually do double protein because they usually give you 4 ounces. So I do double so I can get at least 6 to 8. At Chipotle, you actually build your own bowl. And you could say to them, how many ounces of that am I getting? You know what? They have to know because they were trained. You're putting 2 ounces of rice in every bowl. This scooper is 3 ounces. You're putting it in every bowl. Same thing with just salad. Same thing with bole. They build your bowl. So any kind of build your meal. But you got to watch bole because their food is very full of sodium and their sauces are fats. So just keep that in mind. But if you have just salads near you, it's awesome. There's another place that's the Poke Bowl, I think it's called. Poke King is a great place to build. Amanda, your scenery, is that real or fake? You can just mouth it. I can read your lips. It's real. Wow, that's so beautiful. She's out west. That's gorgeous. Very pretty. Okay, so let's keep moving on. When you are logging your food for your proteins and your carbs, you could be 10 grams over or under what I gave you. So if I said you needed to eat 150 grams of protein and you're at 140, that's fine. If you're at 160, that's fine. If you're at 162 or you're at 138, that's not fine. As you start tracking more, you're going to want to keep in mind, do that for your carbs and your fats. But if you're just getting back into it or you're just learning how to track carbs, I wouldn't focus so much. I want you to focus on one thing with food, and that's proteins. I want you to focus on water, and I want you to focus on steps. And then everything else will come along. And it will all fall into place. Versus saying, oh my God, I started the Stretch Lab and I have all this to figure out. I'm so overwhelmed. I don't want you to do that. Take a step back. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. It takes a good 2 to 3 weeks for tracking macros to kick in. Like it just instantaneously, like it's like, oh my God, I get it. If you're on this Zoom right now and that hasn't happened yet, it will happen. Eventually you're going to open up your refrigerator and you're going to see macros. You're not going to see food. Oh, that yogurt has 18 grams of protein. Oh, a pickle has none. Oh, I could have salsa because it has 0 this. Like you see it and you're like, oh, my mush, I know that has 35 carbs. Like, what do I need? It's numbers, not food. Which is okay because it's making you mindful. And when you're mindful is when you see results. When we eat blind, we have no clue what we're eating. And that being said, the call I was on today is, before we got on the call, I said, all right, I have just looked at your log, and this was at about 3:30. I said, I just looked at your log. I want to get on a call because I don't see any food logged. She goes, oh, are you polishing your nails? Nothing like multitasking. You're okay. You can. You're allowed to do whatever you want. I don't care. We have people at freaking Costco when we're on the meeting. She's like, oh, give me a second. Let me put it all in. How do you think that played out? So, oh, I won't say anything. Okay. So that doesn't work. You can't eat all your food all day, bless you, and then decide at 3 or 4 o'clock, bless you, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there's gonna be one more, right? No, you do too? Okay. That you're gonna put all your food in. Because what happens then? You have no idea what you have to work with throughout the day. What if you had, and this is hypothetical, what if you had 3 pancakes for breakfast, 2 eggs, and a half a honeydew? Then you had your protein shake. Then you had your lunch. It's my sister's thinking macros when I said honeydew. Then you have your lunch, and your lunch you had 2 chicken breasts, a sweet potato, and broccoli, and a roll because you went out to eat. And then afterwards, you were like, oh, I'm not hungry, but I'm bored, so I'm gonna have a cheese stick. Now you haven't logged anything. And then I say, hey, I want to look at your log. And you're like, hold on, let me put it all in. And I look at your log and I'm like, holy shit, you now ate 100 grams of fat today. What can you do? You can't throw it up. You can't give it back. Giving it back doesn't take away your macros. You could throw up, but it's not going to give you back your macros. So you can't give back what you already ate. So why not be proactive and put it in before you eat it? Because you know what could have happened? She could have had the pancakes. She could have had the eggs. She could have had the honeydew. She could have had the protein shake. And when she went out to lunch, maybe she would have forgone the roll. Or maybe she wouldn't have put the butter on the roll because she realized how close she was in fats and she wants to save some fats for dinner. Or maybe she only had half the cheese stick during her snack because she really wasn't hungry. It was just because she needed something to nourish on and she saved it for the end of the day. Or maybe she realized, oh, I only have to eat 6 ounces of protein at lunch, dinner. Yes, because I had my protein shake, I had my snack, like all those things come into play with macros Tetris. Now, if she had pre-logged and thought ahead about what she was eating at the restaurant, she probably could have changed around her food to have more at the end of the day, right? But without knowing, it won't work. So people are always like, oh, I wrote it all down. Can I take a picture of it and send it to you? I'm like, you can, but you're going to have to log it because I have no idea what this means. Right? Hold on one second. You want to ask a question, Stacey? Go ahead.
So I was going to say, when I tend to know I'm going to go to a restaurant, I log the restaurant in first and then do the rest of my day. Otherwise, there's no way to do it.
Exactly. Because you know why? Restaurants have higher calorie food. And make sure you know the portions. Because how many times do you go to a restaurant, you log your food, but you only eat half of it? Right? So you need to make sure when you log it, you know ahead of time, I might only eat a quart, 3/4, or I might only eat a half. Or you just have to keep it in your head. I logged the whole meal. It's a space keeper. As this day is progressing, you're not going to eat that much because you know you're not that hungry. Oh, I can now have this protein bar before we go. And that's one of my tricks, tips, hacks before you go out to dinner. And this sounds so weird. Before you go out for dinner, before you go to a party, before you go to a get together, before you go to a social event, before you go to a work meeting, before you go to anything that you think there might be food, snacks, treats, candy, eat protein. So I have my yogurts that I love. There's like hardly any carb. There's no carbs. I can grab it. I just had one actually, but it's like the Chobani, whatever it is. And I usually just eat one. It doesn't make you full, but it's protein. And it takes away some of that need for something more to eat. Or when you get to the restaurant and you have to wait a while before you order, you have to wait for your friends to arrive, or you have to wait for everybody to get there before they seat you. It kind of holds you over. Or as soon as you get to that get together, now there's M&Ms out, there's snacks out, there's Doritos, whatever. I don't even know what's out anymore. It will make you not want that because you just ate something. Versus going to this event, and you're like, oh my God, I'm starving. I'm gonna eat everything. Or maybe I'm not starving, but everybody else is doing it, so I'm going to do it. Having that little something before really helps. I've gotten Mike in the habit of drinking a protein shake on the way to wherever we're driving. You notice I whisper that because I don't want him to know I'm talking about it. But he's actually lost, believe it or not. I've been doing this for a long time. We've been together 8 years. He's lost 14 pounds. He's not logging it. He's just telling me everything and I'm basically logging it. But still, it's working, right? So that's a great tip, great hack is to prevent yourself. It's preventive. You're being proactive. Okay. Remember, you are not restricted. You are not on a diet. If you put yourself on a diet, you're going to go off of it. That's what diets do. That's what a diet is. You can go on it. You can go off of it, right? I'm going to start it on Monday. I'm going to stop it on this day. I'm going to start it. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to start it. I'm going to stop it. Don't do that. You're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to drive me crazy. You are always welcome back into the tribe, and you'll see people coming and going. You're more than welcome to do that. I love that because that just tells me that you know it works, but now you got to get brain in it, right? You got to get your head into it. But think of it as a lifestyle. And a lot of times people will leave and then they'll message me and say, hey, I've been paying attention. I've been really mindful, but I need to get back on and be more accountable. Which is cool. I love that. Do that. I do it. Right now, I'm super lean and people are like, oh, you lost weight. I'm like, I didn't lose weight. The scale is the same. My body fat went down because I started tracking my macros again. I'm just like you guys. I'm like, I don't want to track. I'm done tracking for the week. I just can't do it anymore. And then I realize my body changes. And then I get back into it. I'm like, all right, I feel less stressed. I feel better. We're going out for dinner on Saturday night. There's a new restaurant in West Palm. It's called Pink Steak. And I don't eat meat, but they have other things. And I didn't realize Pink Steak was a steak house. It didn't hit me because there's flamingos all over. So I just figured it's just the name of the place. But I went on the menu last night and with Mike, and we figured out what we're both eating so that we're prepared. And then probably Thursday or Friday, we'll look again and then we'll put in the app. And I'm going to put my glass of wine in there because I know I'm going to have a glass of wine. I might put 2 glasses of wine there. We'll see how my week goes. But we're all normal. So stop putting yourself on a diet. Enjoy what you like to eat. Of course, everything in moderation. This is about changing your habits, right? Changing your lifestyle so you can take it with you forever and ever and ever. Amen. But you also want to be able to pay it forward to people, your family, your children. I say this all the time. You're not eating the Big Mac. Why are you letting your kid eat it? Why are you taking your kid to fast food when you're not going to do that? But why? Because it's easy, right? I did it. My boys are 25 and 28. I can still remember the day that I sat with them at Wendy's, and I've talked about this before, and they're dipping their fries in their Frosties. Now, my kids are not overweight by any means of the imagination. My kids are like 6'4", 6'5". Thank goodness I don't have to deal with them telling me that they want to lose weight. But my Bailey was overweight, and he started eating the chicken and the broccoli and all that stuff when he was in college, and he started leaning out and kept it. Thank goodness for him. But I remember sitting at Wendy's and they're dipping their stuff in, and here I am not eating because I was on a diet, and this was after school, and they knew I was on a diet, and I didn't want to let them down. Well, we leave Wendy's, and I was getting a divorce from their dad. So we leave Wendy's, and I drop them off at their dad. And where did I go? Wendy's. I went back and got myself a Frosty. I didn't want them to know because I told them I was on a diet. I mean, how many times have you guys been on a diet? Lost weight, gain weight, lost weight, gain weight. I used to be 242 pounds. I get it. I am that person. I've hidden so much food in my lifetime. So don't take your kids somewhere that you wouldn't go. Treat them the way you would treat you. Treat their bodies the way you're learning to treat your bodies. Right? How many of you have ate food that you ate in private thinking that wouldn't count? Doesn't count. You can't tell me I'm the only one. Okay. I used to work at the YMCA in Boca. And I thought probably at this time I was probably like 212 or something. I don't know. I used to work at the Y in Boca. If you're familiar with the area, there's a McDonald's right on Palmetto, right by the YMCA in Boca, by Club Boca and all that. And I would leave the YMCA, go to McDonald's, get a quarter pounder with cheese meal deal. I lived in Boynton. I would eat it on the way up. Nobody knew, right? Before I got to my house, I would throw the food away. And then I would walk in the door and my husband at the time would say, oh, you want to go to Taco Bell? Yes. He had no idea that I ate that McDonald's. Never said a word. I didn't tell him. And then I went and had Taco Bell. It didn't count. No one knew, which is why it's so important to put it in your app. Why it's so important to be accountable for yourself. Everybody's like, why do you have to use the app? For that reason. And if you don't want to log the numbers, let me know. And I want to see a picture of everything you eat. And you can meal journal. but we're going to talk about every meal. So you could either do it on your own or have a conversation with me after every freaking meal. You don't want to do that. Okay. Let's talk about 100% of what we are 100% sure about. 100% sure that crash diets are no fun. They do not work long-term. Optavia, Ozempic, all the things you're seeing right now, right? I did LA weight loss. I did Slim Fast. I did quick weight loss. I've spent thousands of dollars. But what happens long-term? They usually leave you gaining weight back that you lost, plus more. And I'll be there for all those people that are going to do that. I promise you that. To help them, to learn, teach them. Guilt tripping yourself to the gym will never work. The fastest way to burn yourself out is by spending more time on your couch and making yourself feel guilty for not going to the gym. If you don't want to go to the gym, don't go to the gym. Do something that makes you happy. Go for a walk. Do something that makes you want to work out. Put on a YouTube video. Put on one of my videos of workouts. We now have actual workout videos in the apps, not movements, like a full workout. I've been doing them. I did that yoga one that I added. I did the stretching one that I added. They're good workouts. I didn't collaborate with these people because I didn't think they were good. I just don't like myself on video, so it worked out perfect. Summer's over, so summer events are over. It's time to get focused and motivated. We know that, right? We're 100% sure of that. No more summer barbecues, any of those things. We are 100% sure if you live in states where you can cover up, it's easy to hide behind our clothing. And then all of a sudden summer starts to come around. And we're like, oh shit, I gotta wear shorts. I gotta wear tank tops. I gotta wear a bathing suit, or I'm going on a vacation. What am I gonna do? Right? We are all 100% sure that that happens. Don't let it happen. The last thing we are gonna be 100% sure about is the holidays are coming. This is the time right now to buckle down, to get focused, so you can enjoy the holidays. So you don't feel guilty, because there's so many tips and tricks during the holidays I'm gonna give you guys that you can have everything you wanna eat. The mashed potatoes, the sweet potatoes, the gravy, the whatever it is. For me, mac and cheese. I always have mac and cheese. And I love food, I love sweets, desserts. I could go without any of the turkey, the ham, any of it. If you give me mac and cheese and a dessert, that's my Thanksgiving. I'm good. And we're going to talk about that because it's very doable to manage yourself for the holidays. But right now, I want you to focus on water, steps, and getting on those proteins. And I want you to see your name getting a shout out. If you're not seeing the shout out, why? Let's do this. Let's get those shout outs. I love the shout outs. They make my heart so happy. Anybody can work out all day long in the gym. I know you guys get excited. Or not. Someone messaged me. I worked out for 2 hours today. I didn't see it go in the app. I'm not even looking at your fitness in the app on that shout out sheet. I look at your own dashboard to make sure you're getting in your workouts. But anybody can work out all day long. Working out all day long does not cause you to lose body fat. It helps you. But if you didn't do it, and I adjusted your macros, you would still have the same results by getting in your steps and drinking your water. So yes, fitness is amazing. I mean, I'm a personal trainer. I'm a fitness coach. I'm everything. And I love fitness. It helps increase your happy hormones, your endorphins. But that's not the end all. So if you message me and say, I worked out for 2 hours today, or I worked out 19 hours last week, why am I not seeing my body change? Well, that's why. Because over-exercising will do the opposite to your body. Take it from me, because I work out all day long. Pretty much every day I work out. I teach 7 hours of spin a week. I teach 3 hours of spin in one day. You can imagine the amount of food I'm eating to support that. And that's not talking about all my other classes that I teach at UFit and Amped and everywhere else. And getting in my steps, right? Because steps, you have to get your steps in. and working out on my own to keep lean and build muscle. So don't over exaggerate, don't over exercise, and do not become a cardio bunny. Cardio makes you soft. Too much cardio will make you soft. Take it from me. I struggle with that every single day. If you have questions, please message me. That's why I'm here. I think I went through everything that I really felt like I had to talk to you guys about today. I really wanted to make it a review because it was a Jewish holiday, and I know a lot of people weren't going to come on, but I really think that it's important information that we talked about too. So a long time ago, I mean, just really fast. A long time ago, people, before we started a session, I would ask people what they would want advice to give to new people. Then I think it also helps people that are continuing on. Planning ahead is my advice. Write it all down before you eat it. Log it before you eat it. If plans change, you can move things around, but it's easier to stay on track when you have a plan before the day starts. These are all tips from other people, not me. Another tip is plan at least one thing you're really looking forward to in your day to eat. You're less likely to go off track or binge. What I would tell new tribe members is that it's okay to mess up. You're learning. Everything is fixable. It's only a disaster if you eat first and track later. Someone said, sorry, super busy, blah, blah. Don't stress. Just try and enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy the process. Have fun on your new journey to a healthier lifestyle. I would tell new tribe members to listen to Coach Shannon. She knows her shit. My thoughts for the next tribe people. Don't be discouraged. Take it one day at a time. It'll get easier as you go. Just be patient. Shannon she said Shannon. Shannon knows her stuff, so having a coach is amazing. So having her as a coach is amazing. Change doesn't happen overnight. Hence why I'm doing this a second time. And that's funny. I would tell them to track everything in the morning. That helps me keep on track and easier to hit my numbers. I know it's a lot. Trust the process. And there's more. So we're going to talk more. I'll read more. If you're straight off course, get back. If you drink, it's not easy, but you'll be willing to make a lifestyle change. Maybe you'll have 1 glass of wine versus 3. Maybe you'll have 2 glasses versus 4. I would tell tribe mate to track ahead of time, 1 to 2 days, and never use the 10 above. All right, I'm ending this meeting. I will talk more. I'll give you more of these at the next meeting. Thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. Have an amazing Wednesday night. Remember,